What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film breakdown, a little bit of a preview this time. I know the burning question in everybody's mind right now is how will Tom Brady do against this Steve Spagnuolo-led Kansas City Chiefs defense? So I decided, you know what, let's go back. Let's take a look at how the Chiefs played Brady in week 12 or 13. Can't remember exactly what week they played him, but it was later in the season. Let's take a look at how Spagnuolo played Brady then. Let's take a look at some Patriots film from last year. How did he play Brady then? And the answer is pretty consistent with how Spagnuolo likes to play Tom Brady. Very, very upfront, pressure heavy, going to force him to hit his hot right away. We'll get into all of that in just 1 second. First, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports. That would mean the world to both of us. As well as check out my music guy, Max Keys. I'll throw his stuff in the description down below. You know, my channel's been kind of blowing up recently. I really, really appreciate all the support that I'm getting. It means the absolute world to me. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this film. Now, how does Steve Spagnuolo play Tom Brady? First things first, he's going to bring pressure. That is his absolute go-to. A lot of these clips that I have are on third down, and what we're going to see a lot of times is dudes manned up pretty much across the board. But what they do is they bring a safety down on this trip side. So now you got to know, if you're 12, right? If we have two stacked defenders like this, chances are this cat's coming, and they'll man up with him right there. Now, what this also means is that one of these dudes, right, one of these two cats is going to have to work in front of three. What you do here is you're forcing Brady to think pre-snap, which is exactly what he should be doing. It's not necessarily like this is anything crazy different, but notice here, when Brady goes to hit his hot, he doesn't hit his hot over the middle, which is where you would think he would hit it. And when I say hit his hot, I mean when you get pressure as a quarterback, you have your hot route, you have your hot read that you're going to hit right now, right? If we get pressure, we're going to dump it off to somebody quick who we know is going to be open over the middle, wherever that pressure is coming from, whatever it may be, right? We're going to bring pressure there, or excuse me, we're going to hit our hot there. Now, this is what Brady sees pre-snap, and this is important, okay? Because Brady, every single play, and every quarterback will, they're going to identify the mic every single play. Now, I would imagine that Brady ID'd either 53 or 27 as the mic, right? Because of how the offensive line slides, that's where we ID the mic, right? We'll say, hey, Mike 53, or 53 is the mic, whatever he says. Now, that means one of two things. That's who the offensive line's responsible for, or that's who Tom Brady's responsible for. Now, if Brady's responsible for 49 as the mic, that means that the offensive line isn't going to account for blocking him. A lot of times we see this in just empty protection, okay? But in this situation, since we have the back here, he'll ID the mic as 53, which means the back's going to pick up 49, whichever way it may work out. But as we bring pressure with this, you'll see we bring pressure right there into this gap. We're going to bring 49 and 53 across the center's face. Now, this is a big deal because now we have two to the side of the back, and this back's only going to be able to pick up one guy. So as he works inside, he does the right thing, picks up the innermost rusher, innermost defender, but that means that we have 53 coming in free right here. Brady has no other option than to give this ball deep to Mike Evans. That's his only other shot. That's a safe bet, right? Now, when we look at this thing from the end zone, okay, we got two high safeties right here, right? Maybe he's got something quick underneath. Everything is getting pushed upfield. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, where's his hot route? Shouldn't he have something built in underneath right here? Yes, you do, but when you have this, right, and you have everything pre-snap where it looks like everything's manned up, and we see guys bringing heat from this side, a lot of times where he IDs the mic is either going to be, if it's an empty, if he IDs the mic, if 12 IDs the mic is 49, then he will throw hot to that side. But in this situation, since we don't have a hot route and are empty, we assume that all this is manned up. Our one-on-one beater, a lot of times, especially with Tampa Bay, is going to be on the outsides because they trust these guys to win one-on-one situations just like this. Brady's going to take that shot more often than not, especially when he's got guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. You count on those guys to win on the outside most times. Now, ideally, you look at this and you go, dude, 84 is wide open over the middle. We see pressure. We see this safety down low. We know we have one-on-one out here. We're going to take that shot every single time. And we're going to see this time and time again throughout these clips. Now, I spent longer than I expected on the first clip, so maybe I won't go through all of them. But when we look at these clips, once again, what do we see? He's taking that shot on the outside. Why is he taking that shot on the outside? I'll tell you exactly why. Because he thinks that he's going to win this matchup. And that's exactly, as a quarterback, why wouldn't you think that? If I have Mike Evans out here on the outside, you bet I'm going to think I'm going to win that matchup. When you look underneath, however, you see Antonio Brown running free, right? You see him on this choice route right here. Boom, boom. That's a great route. He's going to work back inside toward that leverage and then work outside, right? But when we look at this pre-snap, right, when we look at this from the wide view, we see this cat right here who's coming upfield, he's blitzing, which means that anytime we have these two defenders stacked like that, chances are this dude's coming and this dude's got man coverage right here, okay? But what the Chiefs do a lot of times is they'll work guys who are pressuring out over to number 2 or to number 3, wherever they're going, wherever they're supposed to go. Now, in this situation, another thing that I noticed Kansas City does, and this is what Spagnuolo does such a good job of, these pressures that come from depth, okay, and across the face of the center. These are high-level blitzes. They really, really are. These are tough to pick up, okay? So now, with this situation, Brady, chances are he ID'd 49's the mic, right, which means the offensive line is going to be responsible for him if he works in here. So as an offensive lineman, you're thinking either he's working here and we're working to 49, or if he pressures here, then 76 is working to 49 and 74's got 55. Okay, but what we don't account for is this nose tackle bringing pressure right here on the center and 56 coming across the center's face. That is a hard pressure to pick up, and chances are you're going to land it. Reason being is because that center has to now work through that nose tackle in order to get across to that pressure that's coming on his left side. Now we see a play like this. Once again, why is Brady throwing this wheel, right? That's his hot technically in this situation. That is the guy that he's supposed to throw to. But the Chiefs do this super well, man. They do a really good job messing with their safeties. So what we have here is basically man coverage with this. This is ideally your cover 1 guy. We're bringing pressure. I believe one of those guys drops off. No, they don't. But anyway, we have AB working right here out of the backfield, but we have the safety on him right now. And really the key to this is the fact that he's at depth, right? Which is obviously, you know, it's part of how you pre-snap alignment and all that stuff. They're not going to bring a safety up to the offensive line or anything. But once again, with this pressure, what we see is that blitzer being brought across face of the center. This is, I'm telling you, this is huge. This is a big reason why a lot of Spagnuolo's pressures land. Okay, once again, where did Brady probably ID the mic? To the right side of the offensive line. That's where the center over is sliding, okay? We bring this pressure across face here, right? We bring our one tech really through the center. That's what we want. We don't want this center being able to pop off. 56, we know that 49, we know he's probably going to get eaten up by the guard, but we get lucky in this situation, right? We get lucky in this situation because this tackle works over inside. This is a rookie mistake by 78. I believe that's Tristan Wirfs. This is a rookie mistake by him. Now, what should happen, right, is he should obviously work out to this defensive end right here. I'm not 100% sure why he didn't. I honestly am not. But anyway, regardless, we have a bust in our blocking. And of course, Brady's going to try and get that hot route out right now. That hot throw out right now to 81. That's where your man beater is. Especially when you don't have time, it's a safe throw, right? And that's kind of the thing with Brady. He's okay taking that safe throw a lot of times. All throw and incompletion. I will live to fight another down. That's one of the things that's made his career so long and made him such a good football player, is the fact that he's willing to lose on downs like that. Now, breaking into this play right here, once again, we get empty, okay? Now, I can tell you right now that Brady ID'd the mic for the offensive line is going to be 53 because that's the way they slide, which means that this is your hot as the quarterback. If they bring pressure from that side, we got to hit our route underneath right now. But this is what the Chiefs do that's really, really sneaky. This is really, really sneaky, and this is good football right here. 53 looks like, for all intents and purposes, he's coming in this situation, right? Brady ID'd him as the mic. Okay, we know the offensive line's accounting for me. Great. Instead of coming in and bringing pressure right here, when I rewind this thing to the wide view, we see him drop off in front of 3. This is huge because ideally, right, if this is our hot route, right, if this is our mic that we ID, Brady's not seeing this dude come from depth. That's the guy to hit, right? But we see him come up to the line of scrimmage. We know that the offensive line's accounting for him, but we know that also that if he's bringing pressure right here, he's opening up space behind him, which is where Brady's going to look. But is an outstanding play by 53. He comes up to the line of scrimmage. He locates number 3 behind him. Boom. Where is he? He's right here, right? We got to work to get in front of him. Brady throws that thing high, incomplete pass. That is phenomenal job of playing mind games with 12. That is a phenomenal job. He ID'd the mic to the left. We bring pressure to the right. To the left, we drop in front of 3. That's an outstanding job, man. And that's the stuff that you have to do if you want to have a chance at beating Tom Brady. You have to mess with him mentally. You have to bring pressure on third down. It's really no knock against Brady. I'm a Brady guy. I'm a Brady fan. I want to see him be as successful as possible. As a Patriots fan, I don't care. I know a lot of other Pats fans want to see him fail. I don't understand why people do that. Getting off topic though. Once again, what do we see with this play from the Chiefs? We see the same sort of thing, right? We see that pressure that we bring up to the offensive line. 56 right here. This is telling the quarterback, you have to account for me. You have to account for me on the offensive line or with your quarterback. You have to. If not, I'm going to come free. In this situation, though, right, Brady IDs the mic for the offensive line, which means that we're working this way. We have to account for him. But what do? They bring pressure from the other side, and they drop 57 and 56 right here, right into passing lanes. This is a great job. You have to mix stuff like this up when you play Brady. You absolutely have to. It's the only way that you're going to have a chance, because Brady is so far ahead of where a lot of defensive coordinators are pre-snap that in order to get in his head, you have to be able to mess with him. You have to be able to bring dudes up to the offensive line, make it look like we're bringing heat, bring heat a lot of times, but in some crucial situations, you drop guys in front of 3, you drop guys in front of 2, you're going to get them to make some bad mistakes out there that, what a lot of quarterbacks are probably going to make. This play right here, once again, coverage wise with the Kansas City Chiefs when they're bringing pressure, obviously it's going to be like every football team. It's going to be 1 or 0. Okay, in this situation we just have 1 right here. Chiefs are bringing heat, which means that Brady's going to look toward his outside. He's going to look for that matchup that he likes pre-snap. He gets a little wheel right here, I guess you could call it, out of Scotty Miller. But once again, you bring heat on Brady, you force him to make these throws under pressure. Look, one of the things I hate the most that people say, Brady doesn't do well when there's pressure in his face. What quarterback does? Honestly, what quarterback makes pinpoint accurate throws when he's got dudes in his face? No one. There hasn't been a quarterback like that. Honestly, there hasn't. You can check out of things. You can do your best to check out of it. But when you play a guy like Spagnuolo, a lot of times he's going to be a step ahead of you. So in this situation right here, right, we're bringing pressure from the edge. Okay, we got pressure here. We work inside gap, and then we bring him on the outside right here. We bring 2 to the side of the back, right? We bring 2 to the side of the back, okay? And a lot of times when you do that, one of those guys is going to come free. That's a great job by Tyrann Mathieu getting in Brady's face. Great job by Brashad Breeland, I believe that is, making that interception. But again, this is what the Chiefs have done. This is why they're successful. This is why Spagnuolo is successful against Brady, because he's constantly mixing things up. He's constantly bringing backers to the line, and then we're going to drop in front of 3, right? We see this exactly right here, okay? 53 is going to end up working into the line of scrimmage, so you have to account for him, right? You have to account for him. If you're Brady pre-snap right here, this is who he ID'd as the mic for the offensive line. This is who he ID'd the mic for him. So we bring heat with 49, which means that if he ID'd him as the hot, he's going to throw to his hot route right here. But what do we do if we're Spagnuolo? We drop 53 in front of number 3 on this side or number 2 on that side, and now Brady's thrown into traffic. That is phenomenal schematics that we see from Steve Spagnuolo. Phenomenal schematics. I'm going to fast forward here to a little bit of film against the Patriots when Brady was with them. And we see some of the same thing, a lot of times in this situation, right? In this, he's dropping guys into coverage. He's really trying to mix things up. This is also 3rd and long, so you got to kind of expect that sometimes when Spagnuolo plays, especially when you're playing against the Patriots last year, you really don't have to commit a ton to stop those receivers. Just drop into coverage, force Brady to check it down to Burkhead, which is what he did here, force him to check it down to a running back, and then you're going to be able to rally and make the tackle. But really the big thing with Spagnuolo and with his defense is that he's been able to get after Brady with his front 4, and there's zero change of that this year with the Kansas City Chiefs. They still have Chris Jones, Frank Clark. They bring heat like crazy. We see it once again right here where we bring in heat from the bottom. Okay, this is just an outstanding job. We ID the mic to the top, so we're sliding here. We bring 2 to the side of the back. Back's only going to be able to pick 1. We get a free release with the other guy, and of course Brady's going to take that one-on-one matchup on the outside. So anyway, guys, that was an absolute mouthful from me. Hope everybody is enjoying their pre-Super Bowl week. I'm very excited for the game. I'll have another video coming out about the Chiefs offense, hoping to drop that on Thursday. Got the podcast as well coming out with Luke G this week. Going to be a big one. That's all I got for you guys today, though. Hope everybody's staying safe, washing those hands, and I'll see you next time.